Okay, so we get asked a hell of a lot in the shop, you know, like when someone buys a reel, how do we maintain it properly? You know, once a year, if it's a good quality reel like this, then you should drop it into a service centre. If you've got a decent tackle shop in the area, you should have someone there who services reels and all that sort of stuff. So if it's not just a cheap $100 throwaway reel, then you should get it serviced every year. But about every 6 to 8 fishing trips, you should just do a basic service yourself. Now you can see that this one here's got a fair bit of gunk and that built up on it. So what we're going to do is just going to give it a quick basic service. Most of your reels these days are quick takedown. So quick takedown basically means that for you, it's very easy and very quick just to pull the thing apart and give it a quick oil and grease. And that's why some of the comments that we get on our casting and all that sort of stuff, it's not just the rods that make the difference when you're casting accuracy and effortless casting. Effortless casting means accurate casting. So the reel has to perform. Now this, as you can see, this is still performing. So if I stop the spool, this is still performing well. It's still, the spool's rolling easy, there's no noises, the handles still spin easy, the level wind still winds beautifully, all that sort of stuff. But to keep it performing like that, you have to perform maintenance. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to cast the way that you should be able to, and it's going to make it hard work. So this is basically a quick service, okay? So there's not a lot involved in it really. One of these little oil bottles like this that's got the needle on the top means that you can put oil down the pinion bearing in areas where you can't get your big fat fingers like mine. Earbud or cotton bud, ear cleaner, whatever you want to call the thing. Very handy for, I'm going to show you why in a second. But righto, let's get into it because it doesn't take very long. So all you got to do is basically on these, that little clip there, flip that back. So this is an Abu Zanin, the reel. Side plate pops off. Right, so side plate can go there, spool can come out. The reason that this reel casts so well is because this spool here weighs nothing. So very good for casting little lures. But you can see I've got oil all over this shaft here. That's actually a bad thing. We don't want oil on that, so we're going to clean that off. There's a bearing on the end of here that needs to be oiled. So what we'll do is we'll start from the inside here first, which is basically inside there, if I can get the angle on the camera right. Because it's on my head, I don't know if that's on the right angle for you, but just in there there's what's known as a pinion gear and a pinion bearing. So that's the gear in the middle there, and that's the bearing around the outside. So what we want to do is we want to drop a little bit of oil, bloody dog, a little bit of oil on that bearing like that. Now I'm just going to show you how to clean the inside of that, where that shaft goes down, because that's got to be frictionless, so there can't be any grab between oil and cause from oil or anything like that. It's got to be dry. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. I don't know how this footage is going to come out, but I'm trying to do all this without moving too much. So we're going to get one of these cotton earbuds, and we're just going to take the main part of the cotton off it like that, and we're going to leave a tiny little bit still on the shaft like that, and that fits perfectly down the inside like that. So that'll clean all that stuff out of there, and that right where your shaft of your spool goes down in there. Just put it in there, give that a quick clean like that. You can see all the gunk and everything come out of there. Alright, so that's right ready for me now. Once I clean this spool off, I'll just use the rest of that there, clean that shaft off so that's all nice and clean and dry. I'm going to put a drop of oil, one drop is all it needs, on that bearing there like that. Now that can go back in there after I clean. So if you have a look in there, you can actually see bits of grit and sand and dust and everything that's accumulated in that oil that's already on there. So I don't every now and then on the outside, just to make sure there's no residue or anything like that. Alright, so I'm just going to get a little toothbrush like that, and that's going to clean out any grit and grime. If you can't get, like, so I can't get in all the way into there, so I'm going to get a little paintbrush, any little bits of residue out of there. Like that. All around my level wind, so I can see all up in those housings there. Underneath here, we want to use the other end of this cotton wool bud. just get rid of any of that stuff that's gunked on there. Right, out of there, underneath our thumb bar. And basically, I should have changed cotton wool buds. You can see how much grit's on there now. I'll get another cotton wool bud now. Right, so basically anything that you can see has got any grit and grime. In little bits of grass, like there's a tiny bit of grass there, it just came off. That's gonna, if that gets into your level one, that's gonna cause dramas. So, but when you're walking through the bush, you're gonna get little pieces of bark and grass and all that sort of stuff as you're walking along, go into your reel. So we just want to make sure that we get the majority of the gunk and everything off the reel. You can see how much is coming off there. Like, it's actually quite a bit. Under our thumb bar again. Alright, push our thumb bar down. I'll just say there's going to be blokes out there that say, oh, that's not a service, but I'm trying to show you the minimum you should be doing if you're expecting your gear to perform the way you want it to. This is the absolute minimum that you should be doing. And yes, if I wanted to be clinical and all that sort of stuff, I'd have changed ear buds about 5 or 6 times by now, but I'm not clinical. Okay, so any moving part is what you want to oil. So you can see your level 1 shaft there spins around, so we're going to put the oil on there, anything that moves, right, so we can see that our thumb bar has to slide up and down in that slot there. Push the thumb bar down, oil in there, and the other side. Alright, so the actual level wind housing, I'm going to put a little bit of oil on that and that little shaft above there. Alright, so if you wind the handle, you'll see moving parts. Anything that moves, you have to oil it. Just not too excessively, that's all. Alright, so everything's running nice and free. I just missed a bit of gunk down in there. Alright, so everything's running free there. Put 1 drop of oil on the spool bearing, the support bearing. It can go back in there. Right, 1 drop of oil on that bearing there. Alright, make sure there's no gunk in there. It's all pretty good. Make sure our braid's not trapped between the housing, which like that. And we do our clip up, otherwise our side plate will fall off. Right, so this is our axle, our spool tension knob at the end of here. We'll take that off there. Alright, if that little piece comes out, if that little toothed piece that runs on those little fins in there that makes that noise when you're doing it up, then you can take that out if you want, but I don't want to. Right, I can see the bearing in there, so I'll put my little needle in there, because as I say, this is supposed to be just a quick service. This is not a full-on service. Right, we'll do that back up again. So any moving part means this as well. Now, I got fat fingers, so pointy nose pliers will do this. I'm just using Halco split ring pliers here. I can pull that cap out the end there. A couple of drops oil down in there. Put the cap back on. Do the other one. There. put that back on there, and she's pretty much, that's her, ready to rock and roll. So back that tension off. Now when you're adjusting your tension on this, you know, for casting, because we don't use any cast controls turned on whatsoever. If you've got a good reel and an educated thumb, you shouldn't need to use any cast controls whatsoever. It just means more effortless casting. So basically the way that we tension this spool here is to back it off until you get a little bit of sidewards play in the spool, like that. You can see that just moving from side to side, and then we'll tighten it up just a little bit. Feel it. So that is now completely free running. It means that we can cast effortlessly. Alright, so that's a basic service on a baitcaster. Howdy doody everyone. We've got a midweek day off today, and the boat's got an alarm going off. We've got Catsy coming around to have a look at it on Wednesday, so until the boat gets looked at and fixed, we're stuck walking the riverbanks. So I'm just going to drop a plastic through here. We've caught plenty of good jacks in this spot before, so that's what we're after. I don't know if I was quick enough to get him. The big croc down there in the middle just powered off. He was swimming on the surface, and I think he saw me and then just powered off, so I have to keep an eye out here. Oh my God. Fat fish, this one. It's on a 4-inch prong. There you go. Back in there. 4-inch atomic prong in the ghost orange colour. The water's colour is a bit like it is now. It's a bloody good colour, so, but not the desired species. Now this is where that croc was that I was saying. Now I don't know if he's still here, or if he's gone down further, or if he's just laying on the bottom, or what he's doing, but be worth keeping an eye out anyway. Just had a nice jack just there, come up off the snag. Didn't hit it, just rolled up on it. Oh, there he is again. She's definitely a jack. So there he is. Green ants nests everywhere. You end up with a heap of them in your shirt, crawling over your bloody head. And see what's on that corner over there. And then make it through that thick school of tilapia, and underneath them there's something. That's good. Let's see what's over here. This is where you cast. Oh, yep. Yeah, that's a good jack. You would have seen him. This is where your casting comes into it. If you can't cast effectively, there's so many snags that you're not going to be able to get to. So it is definitely. Oh, there he is again. It's definitely worth practicing your casting in the backyard before you come and try this sort of stuff. Otherwise, you lose a fortune's worth of lures. He's not a bad jack actually, especially for a little creek like this. Might have wised up too. It's the same as that there. I know that if I step on there, I'm going to sink straight up to my giblets in mud, because I did it there once before. So I know that I can't get down there, but being able to cast from here, if there's a fish there, I should be able to. Oh, that was a jack. Hope you're seeing him when that boil's coming up. What's that, Jack? Hopefully. Oh, I dropped him, yep. Friggin' Jack. What's a tilapia in that here? I haven't had a jack or anything come up and have a look. Yeah, better. And then I'm going to get him up here, it's a long way up here. Oh, got him. Little prawn, I'll try and spear him in those first. Sort of. Bloody long cast over there for a 5'6" rod.